564 of both, technically both hexes. However, EX is now, not so well liked for some reason. And the reason that it is not so well liked, apparently, is because there was a tweet on a social media. Now, this is the conclusion that I'm drawing. Whether or not it's actually correct, I don't know. But it appears that, I don't know, I just thought we knew better than all of this. So I thought I'll bring to light what it's like to meet a real crypto trader in the wild. You might find this humorous. I do.
Thanks. Well, okay. Alright.
Some of those cannibal tribes.
Okay. Maybe I'll take this off right now and then... Just thank you. Okay. Thank you. Why are people on that side of the river so afraid of the Agori? I see. Why do... feel like this may have been a mistake. I think maybe we just, somebody distracts him and then I just leave.
Let's see where it goes.
We can be polite. I can be very polite about it.
So, not everyone has the abundance mindset. Not everyone maybe has your best interest at heart. I don't know you. You don't know me. And it's a shame because I feel like the Hexicans are getting milked, I feel like they are subject to mind manipulation through their trust levels. This is what got me previously wrecked in other cycles or the previous cycle, possibly the cycle before in cryptocurrency. I would come across, online content and think, oh, this person's trustworthy. I can listen to them. This is the problem. What if the person gets it wrong that you're listening to? Ultimately, you should be about self-development and learning more about things you're engaging with, such as cryptocurrency. Now, it's somewhat grim and serious tone, but I think this is just my thoughts on the day. That's why I called it day 1564, the fallout. You could argue that it's day 301 or whatever it is on Pulse Chain, but I might pivot there shortly. Day, I can't even see it. It's been moved. Day 304. Cool. I think it's been moved. Nice. Now, I had a little rest, woke up, and saw this. INC went up. So this is another tweet, right? So everyone who somehow reacts to reading something online for whatever reason, whether they should have or shouldn't have, and then as a result of their own actions, possibly other people did the same thing or the opposite thing. We then see price go down. We then see lots and lots of emergency end staking. We see lots of payouts. We saw the largest payout ever per T-share, which is great if you're holding and mining HEX, but it's not so great if there's not so much activity over there, and potentially in the future it becomes unusable, untenable, thanks to Ethereum's inability to operate a blockchain which provides all of their users low gas fees, which makes transacting a breeze, like it is on Pulse Chain. Now, that's not digging at Ethereum, it's just pointing out facts. Now, if someone goes out and then dumps all of Ethereum, because if I had a mass following and people listening to me, I would be like, I didn't say that. I just pointed out that if ETH fees suck. Well, and I would wonder where people's mindset is. Again, because ultimately it's myself, when I press the buy or sell, if I press the buy or sell, maybe I haven't got any crypto at all. How do you know? You verified? You know, you could go down the route of analyzing people and their bags they hold, their influence, reasons why, their objectives, their motives, positive, negative, or otherwise. But that's not really what this stream is about. I'll point out next, basically, this tweet here on X, formerly Twitter. Ink went up 25x in 3 months, and it isn't even on a coin ranking site. Only has 32k holders. 30% of its total supply is in 142 million, 0.9 million liquidity across these two pairs. As you can see, official links, but again, make sure you verify them. Ink is so cool, it probably eats demand from all the stupid meme coins. Words are important. In way more liquid than all of them on Pulse Chain. Since its liquidity is paired with Pulse and PulseX, the order router buys them first to get the best order execution. Then the bridged in DAI, ETH, USDC, USDT sits in the PLS pair. High INC prices makes yields on the farms higher, which increases the liquidity for PLS, PLSX, and INC. Now we'll pause here, and I am glad that there's other people out there that know a lot more than I do, because if you were to listen to me, my initial thoughts was, I don't like the yield farming because it's too risky due to impermanent loss. Because of my lack of knowledge, I then researched, watched the market, saw how it played out, strategized, and said, well, had I have entered in yield farming early, very early and very large, I would have got wrecked, kind of, in terms of pulse price going down. Now, had you entered in only the PLSX, PLS pair, maybe you might have fared a little bit better, you know? But again, my initial thoughts were INC is a dump forever token. That was my thoughts on the tokenomics. So, straight up, I was 100% wrong thus far. And what we see is we're seeing mathematics play out potentially. Again, I haven't got the calculation in front of me, but it almost feels as if, again, I could be 100% wrong. Like I said, INC is a dumb forever token. I can't see future plays. I never saw large buys of Pulse, PulseX and INC and HEX across from sacrifice addresses. I never expected any of this. I never expected a tweet to be logically presented on a open platform, and for some reason people's reactions were to panic and emergency end stake and dump. So it's almost as if someone heard from someone else that there was a fire in the theater when people were watching the movie, and everyone, rushed to the exit, potentially trampling some people on the way out. Now, some people might be sitting in chill mode, like myself, still watching the whole thing play out, going, well, I paid for my ticket, I kind of want to see the end of the show. Now, moving on from this tweet here, which I should have scrolled up so you can all see, but thus, it's a meme coin with utility. Its price has gone up and down the most volatility of PLS, INC, HEX. And if the price keeps doing what it's done over the last 3 months, it might get even more. It might get more eyeballs on everything. Does that mean everyone's going to rush out and go and buy INC, or is it just stating a logical fact that if this happens, maybe this happens? It's not saying go to. It's saying maybe, and this is what happens. Oh, and look, and not financial advice, and past performance is no guarantee of future. Report the imposters below and don't click any links. So be careful, save yourself before you encounter some real cannibals who maybe want to chop your fucking head off and eat you and consume your life force. Now, all this stuff going on social media, if you're tuned into it, if you got your radio set for that frequency, doesn't appear to be playing out on something like INC. For whatever reason, maybe it's to do with, well, this information here, if you can comprehend it, which I'm having troubles doing so, mind you, because like I said, I thought it was a dump for Evertoken. And what I'm seeing play out is very intriguing, very methodical, very slow moving. You know, it's not like take all of your life savings, you just dump it here and watch it get burned like on the South Park meme and it's gone. It's almost like a system in place that maybe banks don't want you to know about, legacy finance, because it would eat into their profits if there was a system out there enabling people to be able to enrich themselves slowly over time from, I guess, minimal capital put in upfront. However, we have seen destruction of capital over on the Ethereum side due to people's own actions, on top of the ETH fees crushing everyone. Now, I'm not sure if people think it's smarter to be quicker in regards to posting information, memes, and try and get their own talking points, because everyone's trying to be correct. Everyone's trying to have the biggest fucking dick in the space, you know? Everyone's trying to fucking, excuse my language, but everyone's trying to be, what's the saying about the kitchen? There's too many chefs. Funny that, because, you know, Master Chef and all. So initially, due to my knowledge, I will cover the HEX.vision, because that still covers Ethereum chain. I haven't seen it forked. Don't have to know how to apply it. I do know there's hexfi.io, which saves you a lot of copy paste thing if you want to do that, because you can pull all of these up from, you can export these into, I think, Excel format. I actually don't do it. But so the first address you see here, it'll probably stuff me up. Maybe that's not even the right one. Some of the top 3 or 4 addresses, right? Live on stream people. They have a pretty healthy holding of Ethereum, right? Now, maybe their holdings were a lot larger, like all-time highs. Imagine what this value would have been had it have been in, I guess, liquid HEX in their bag, and they were able to sell it. Because, you know, paper gains, I'm pretty sure a lot of people, well, I thought everyone in HEX had 5555s, and I thought everyone understood that, you know, not that it's a paper game, but if you have a large, long stake like that, there's risks involved. You can't access any of the tokens because you burnt them. I wish my notification would go away. We understood, I thought everyone understood that, you know, up to 50%, you can't emergency end stake without incurring huge penalties, that being outright loss of initial amounts burnt. However, it's funny because it's like you've already burnt it. Basically, after that 50% period, you can mint via emergency, but you will only get a lesser amount had you have steered the course and watched the entire show all the way to the end. That being said, that's still a lot. To me, that's a large bag, right? $1 million, 1.3 US, so that's a lot more Australian. However, maybe, and there's like 20,000 here. I wonder, and I'll finish my sentence. So I wonder if people like this are the ones who are upset because their Ethereum holdings are no longer worth the millions, you know. I wonder if this is the whole like divide and conquer mindset where some people had more, and because they had more, they were happy, which is fine. Some people had less. They can't comprehend as much losses as the people who experience the losses. And then, but then at the same time, if the system that they're using, like going back to here, maybe they're providing LP, while other things are down. So the larger bags are down, but not to the extent of, you know, the real large players. Maybe things aren't as bad, but for the people who had those huge, massive bags, it seems a lot worse than it is, because now they're only getting a little bit of potential INC, if they're even doing that. I don't know. And maybe the pulse bags aren't growing at the rapid rate as INC sort of is. And maybe Pulse X isn't growing at the rapid rate as INC. So they've got huge, heavy bags, but it's not moving as much. And it's not to say that it won't move in the future, but maybe we sort of got spoiled with HEX, the run up that we experienced on EHEX, that is. And maybe that sort of everything feels like it's moving faster, and we've sort of forgotten our ability to, you know, just sit and experience the moment, or be patient. You know, like I play that song so many times, patience. But that's my take on it. Again, could be wrong. It could be that people, you know, that's it's good. Like, imagine that comment is good. Imagine if we all understood that ETH fees suck. We understand basically that you have to be a relatively large player to have large bags, obviously, and to be able to weather such large ETH fees should it hit that. It also is pretty obvious that for some reason a particular tweet, or, you know, on X, formerly Twitter, was actually like, it triggered someone. I'm not sure. It brought out the cannibalism in them. I'm not sure if you saw before, Machiavelli, the video I played, but go back and just watch from the beginning. Pointed out what it's like to read a mill, to meet a real you know, crypto trader, or degen potentially, who's maybe not so much a Hexican, or has, you know, Hexican origins. I'm not so sure. And going back to the patience, maybe this upcoming bull market will satisfy the needs of many people. Basically, we may see, you know, large numbers, large amounts of X's, potentially on INC, potentially on Pulse and Pulse X, and maybe if people, you know, still hold the HEX, maybe they'll still be able to experience some large gains if that does take place. You know, if and when. It may never happen. Like I said, I've planned for, if you go to my X account, I've planned for that scenario as with the screenshot, when INC was like under 50 cents and everything was just under sack. And although EHEX was a little bit healthier, mind you, the ETH fees were getting out of control then. The next one, next address, again, see, this one is a smaller one, so not sure what they did. Maybe they've exited the system forever, maybe they've moved around. I had a little look, which led me to here. So there's about $2,000, so I'm not sure. Do they have other wallets? You know, you start thinking things like that. But the point of this particular screen, I want to show everyone, if they see it, is when you click on something like Etherscan, I like how it has multi-chain portfolio, but for some reason, multi-chain portfolio does not include, I bet if you know what Pulse Chain is, you probably are guessing what I'm going to say next. That's right, Pulse Chain. Now, it has Blast, Ethereum, AVAX C Chain, BNB Chain, Polygon, Arbitrum One, Optimism, Base, BTTC, Celo, Phantom, Gnosis, Polygon, ZK EVM, Chroma, Linear, Moonbeam, Moonriver, Arbitrum Noah, Scroll, Wimex, ZK Error, OP, BNB, maybe Optimism, Fraxstorm. And I can't help but think, where is Pulse Chain? Why do they exclude Pulse Chain? What is this club that we are not in? I think it's George Kalen. It's a big club and you ain't in it. Why is it that people say that about the Hexicans and the Pulsekins, the Pulse Hexicans, people with large bags? It's the OG's fault. Every fucking talking point under the sun. But if you zoom out and realize we're a part of a community who is being excluded from a larger club, which you zoom out again is being excluded from a larger club. But now we're seeing, we are seeing BTC ETFs, so Legacy is going to come in and start doing what they're doing. And as we can see, they've been pumping the fuck out of the markets. If and when it happens to Ethereum, it most likely will follow suit, which will be crazy. Yeah. Now, before I coughed, I was going to say something else. I can't remember. Why is it that Pulse Chain is not included on this? I'm not so sure. Is it that they are concerned that for some reason a truly decentralized platform with, validators around the world, which make my PC freak out when I try and load it, is it that they're just concerned that they can't control everything? And then is that then saying crypto to an extent is already sort of under some sort of control? It makes you wonder, it really does. Is it the same people that are trying to, keep Pulse Chain out of this club, keep HEX out of this club? Is it the same people possibly dumping on all of our heads, and maybe some stronghold HEXkins are actually staying the course in terms of holding their EHEX because they have to wait for it to, come out of stake, assuming it's there. But, I mean, that does cross my mind. And by doing this, what has it done? It's caused huge division amongst the community. It's caused multiple streams and multiple content to analyze all this, which is kind of fascinating to watch it all play out. But I haven't really seen, anyone come out and say, yeah, I have a big giant bag and I fucking emergency end staked and murdered the price. Because I don't think that is happening from the more, I would like to think that is not happening from the larger players in the space and the more trustworthy players in the space. If it is, however, I'll refer you back to the image of when a CNN reporter meets true cannibalism, how it ended up. I just move this, and what's happening, Sonny? Shout out to Chad. It's the fact that we are not in the club that I find the most attractive. 100%, and that should be a strong message to resonate with everyone, to understand that because they don't want us in this quote unquote club, what do you think is probably going to happen if we outperform everyone? It is going to piss them off so bad. And then we can tell their club, we don't want your shit. We can't be bored. Our souls aren't for sale. Like, literally, we are here for true DeFi. It's being built from all the great devs in the community who aren't trying to ass fuck everyone. Or scamming pieces of shit, trying to wreck everyone, or trying to socially manipulate us all to do XYZ. I mean, if they truly have good intentions, I believe, with some well thought out logic and the ability to execute, I do think it will be successful, whatever they touch. However, if it's just retards, not in an offensive way, but if they're just scamming pieces of shit who are mentally not as capable to produce quality sound fucking work, and if you then invest in that, and then you follow that, and then you get wrecked, and then you call them the retard, maybe you should look in the fucking mirror and be like, hang on, I was the one that pressed the buy and sell button, that's a good point, son. Good point. One of these days I'll get the thing where you display the chat, but I don't think it's necessary. Although when when you're watching the stream, it's like, oh, this is interesting. Will they show my chat? What will they say? Etc. Etc. Will they yell at me? Will they dismiss it? Now that's about the end of this particular speech of mine. So in closing, before I end. So this stream was basically inspired by this particular. Well, it was inspired by the outcomes that I saw on chain, what I could find. It was inspired by the data that I saw. Again, go watch Crispy Man. He had a really, really good stream the other day, well, a few hours ago, basically pointing out in real time we could see, the people ending their shit. We could see the liquidity in Ethereum. It's actually increased a little bit. Liquidity USDC, liquidity in HEX over on the Ethereum chain. And then we could see also, big way, and we could see also the payout per t-shirt. It was crazy. And then the penalties came through because, once it kicks over, that's why I made this stream. The one, was it 1564? I was about to call it 1364. Where did the last 200 days go, people? But yeah, and we can see here in this day in history, HEX penalties reach 1 billion. So there was a lot of people who said they were long-term holders and diamond hands, who I don't know who they are, whoever they were, whatever reason, was it purely greed-driven and purely profit-driven? If that's the case, now, don't get me wrong, I do enjoy making money, but I like to think that I can have a system to make perpetual, infinite income, as opposed to winning the lottery, degenning, and destroying one's life, and then ending up homeless. Because that quite often happens to people who win the lotto. Not always, but if that happened to me, I would say, how the fuck do people do this? Wouldn't they do this? Wouldn't they do this? Wouldn't they do this? But that's maybe possibly why I never win the lottery. It's funny how the universe is like that. Sometimes the people who should be in power don't get in power. Sometimes the people who shouldn't have lots of money do have lots of money. Sometimes people that I think should have lots of money, maybe they don't, That's my excuse anyway. That's how I can blame my life and say, oh, my life's so sad. Play the world's fucking smallest violin. I don't really think that. I think life's awesome. Have fun. Deal with this fucking mindfuck or whatever's going on X and Twitter. Go look at PulseX. Maybe look at... Okay. Maybe go and look at hex.com. This is not financial advice. And have a look how to buy a HEX. The price for the longest time has been pulling from Pulse Chain HEX. And it says maybe you buy Pulse first. So maybe you get a wallet like MetaMask. Maybe then buy Pulse if you figure out how to buy Pulse. Maybe use there's various means. Maybe you bridge in via some of the cheaper chains that are verified and trusted and people have used them. SparkSwap comes to mind. Pulse. There's another one. PLN. That token. The name. There's a few others changed now. As long as you're happy with the fees that you pay, etc., etc. I don't know, maybe you find someone to do a peer-to-peer transaction. Who knows? Then maybe you then go and buy HEX, swap that Pulse for HEX, and then you have HEX, the real HEX on Pulse Chain. I want to say PHEX, but I have to sort of change up now because HEX on Pulse Chain is HEX, right? That's, and now I guess people say there's been confirmation, but everyone knew this the whole time. I don't understand. Was it that, the tweet said maybe people were just greedy, they didn't want to say it because they thought it might hurt their bags, and therefore you don't want to talk about the military industrial complex because that might offend some people, or you don't want to, you see where I'm going there, right? Which makes me wonder, like, how different are we really from the bad people in the world, if that's what some people were doing. I definitely wasn't doing it, except for the fact that I kind of thought INC was a dump forever token. Kind of been watching the community change and evolve over time, which has been interesting, I just sort of still do my thing, make a few streams here and there, and hope for and pray that one day Ethereum does fix their shit, in which case maybe a use case for EHEX comes back. However, we've got Pulse Chain, we've got HEX, we've got INC, we've got PulseX, we've got LP farming, and as some of the tweets from Richard pointed out, was, or Mr. Hart. I don't know Richard Hart personally, so that's why I'll call him Mr. Hart. Mr. Hart. We have this wonderful tweet pointing out, basically, I'm not being, I'm saying this is a good tweet, saying, did you know INC is doing this right? It could do this in the future. This is how the fucking Pulse X is working. You know, yeah, okay, some people took some profit and made some other shit. Its liquidity still isn't as deep and as thick. I don't think it is. And is it greed? Is it for backup? I remember back in the day, remember backupx.com, just in case, you know, the front end went down. Oh, that's cool. Stuff built on top, that's cool. But then it's like, we're competing with ourselves, with our own fucking pool of, not pool, but like, it's the mentality of there's only so much of the pie. It's like, hey, what about we make a fucking pie factory with infinite, and then we're talking about the ingredients here. And we're growing our own fucking ingredients and just infinite supply if we can all figure out how to play our part, you know, in society, I guess, in Mexico. Yeah, that's sort of you know, a perfect world scenario, but for Mexico, but you know, whether or not that plays out to that extent, I don't know, because otherwise, if it did, we might see fucking infinite money, and in portions that we could not comprehend. We might see it anyway, but it may just, you know, take a different route, because it would be hard for one individual to do all of this, you know, especially when you have factors such as greed, jealousy, lust, envy, shit like that, within something that you love so much, you know. I'm guilty of it. I wish I was some huge fucking big giant whale, and everything I said was correct. And when I said it, people listened, and there was no like ramifications from fucking like if you say the wrong word, and from you know, the wonderful thing that is censorship we currently have. You know, that's all part of it. And then you see the infighting, and then you see I don't follow closely enough, the different communities emerge, which is, I think, is, you know, freedom of association. That's fine. It'd be kind of hypocritical to say you can't do this because it's like, hang on, freedom of fucking movement, freedom of speech, freedom of association. Yeah, we should surely have a constitution like that. But anyway, we don't. We have political free speech and some constitutional human rights that appear to be thrown into the bin of late. But anyway, yeah, that's about it. I'll read this last comment and we shall end it here on a positive, I hope positive note. Now, you have a good attitude. Thank you. I hope you do too. I hope everyone does. I enjoy paying my future self. I agree. I think HEX has done this wonderfully well. And in the bull market, it will, if you have, you know, miners ending, you should be rewarded for that, you know. And then it's like, you get into the cycle about taking profits. It's like, well, if you figure out how to play in the ecosphere in a healthy way, yourself, then A, you won't wreck yourself, and B, you won't wreck yourself. Because it sounds funny, but you could sell and think, I've sold the top, yes, then another top comes, and then another top comes. And then maybe you look back and go, I wish I didn't sell that much. Again, or if you make, you know, you make some amazing amount and you can get out without murdering the price, or you can figure out a way to sort of sustainably exit in an orderly manner, not to stampede the fucking crowd around you like in a theater. That would be net positive for everyone involved. You know, assuming you don't want to be a sadistic, satanic, evil psychopath who wants to eat everyone else like the cannibals were. Well, I argue they were. They look kind of like demons to me, if you ask me. But you have the time to think about how you will spend it. Very true. Very, very true. Time is so much more valuable than money. I had this discussion earlier with the missus. She wishes that I bumped on everyone's head early on. So for me, large gains, good profits. And then she could have some more time back because, you know, due to work commitments and things like that. And she can see the lifestyle that I am choosing to go down with the full backing, with the I am hoping that, you know, it doesn't all go to zero, because then what could happen is by the time I go to exit, this may not exist and the grounds may have been salted because someone has come and raped and pillaged and plundered, which I hope doesn't happen. That's why I think it's important to protect that which you love, that which you care about. Something like HEX, something like Pulse Chain, something like Pulse X, which INC as well, I guess, and LP, which is what I thought was the case here. But however, taking a step back, I might have to put a few more bullets in the chamber, so to speak, just in case, you know, just in case. God forbid, you know, you'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it, is a saying. Now, don't lose sight of the value and spend it thoughtfully. 100%. Yeah, there's all this bullshit making you sad. Why? Why let that into your life? Block it out. Walk away. Go to the beach. Go to talk to your parents if you can. Go talk to your children. Go pet your pets, you know. Go volunteer your time. If you've been gifted such abundance, why waste it? Why squander it over some petty nonsense, over some computer code translated into things that we can comprehend? Why? Peer-to-peer is only chance. Yeah, I agree. I hope that's DeFi. I'm probably going to butcher your thoughts, but me interacting with code and me interacting with other participants unknown to each other. What more could you want, right? All right, so thank you for tuning in. Free speech signing out. I'll speak to you all next time. And please, just be nice to each other.